Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Jason Show Home Edition. I'm Jace. Hope you're having a really great Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Grab a drink, grab some OJ, grab some tea, grab some coffee, sit back, relax. Let's have some fun. What y'all been up to? I got to tell you, it's been a crazy week for me. First, I got a haircut. And for the first time in 15 years, and I think some of you will be able to relate to this, Oprah did a whole show about it, Mermaid didn't cut my hair. If you've watched the show, you know that one woman has touched this melon in 15 years. That's her name is Kara, but I call her Mermaid or Mer for short when she's driving me crazy, which is every day. But I call her Mer because she believes in mermaids. Anyway, but Mermaid is unavailable. She went back to join her people in the ocean, so she couldn't get to me. So I had to go to someplace else. And I went to Marty's Men's Shop in the North Loop here and went to Izzy. And this guy is a master barber, but I was freaking out, which, again, I know you guys can relate to because it's hard when you go to someone else that hasn't touched your hair. And look, this isn't hard. You just, it's Fisher Price hair. It hasn't changed in 20 years. But I was real nervous and I didn't know what to say. And I didn't know what to tell him because usually I just sit down and Mermaid just cuts and there we go. But, he was great. It was nice. He was, again, I looked at his card. He's a master barber, like a Yoda, but he was awesome and it was cool. And, the space was great, and he wore a mask. I wore a mask. It was just, I don't know. It's unlike anything I've ever been to, but I was very nervous. So I keep thinking about that episode from like 93 of the Oprah show, where she did a whole show when you break up with your hairdresser and you go to someone else. Now, I want to say I'm not breaking up with Mer, but it causes stress, especially when the new person you go to, the new stylist, is in the same salon as your old stylist. It causes friction. I wanted to do that for a topic on this show, but maybe we will in the new season. But anyway, thanks to Izzy for calming me down. And Mer, I love you. One more note before we get started. Let me show you a picture here. Speaking of the North Loop, I wanted to give a shout out to Billy's Sushi. I did that after the haircut. Brand new sushi place in the North Loop. So if you're coming down with a mask on, to shop and look around or walk outside, stop by Billy's. Amazing sushi, great guy. He owns a place in Wayzata, and now he's open here on the North Loop, and it's great atmosphere, good prices, amazing sushi, and Billy is the most fun guy. You walk in and you can hear Billy's voice filling the hallways in the best way. So Billy, thanks for your hospitality. Welcome to our neighborhood. And for all of you watching, go support Billy Sushi. Okay, everybody, let's get started. It is time for the hot dish. Here I go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's get started. Okay, first, let's talk reboots. You know how I feel about reboots. I don't usually like them. They don't always work. Like I don't like the Dynasty reboot. You all know that. But anyway, this movie reboot, I could get on board with. Well, let me just show you. I'm talking about Twister, everybody. That's right. The 1996 movie with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt is getting another go. Now, if you haven't seen it, and I think a lot of you have, if you have TNT, they run it like every day. There's storm chasers on the hunt for the most powerful tornado ever. And I think in Helen Hunt, there she is right there, under an overpass. Her fascination with tornadoes started as a child. Well, according to Variety, Universal is considering a reboot of the thriller and already has the director. They have grabbed Joseph Kosinski, who directed the latest Top Gun movie, to direct the new Twister. Which, you know what? If they're going to redo a movie, this is one they could redo and won't bother a lot of people. It's not like this is The Wizard of Oz or Citizen Kane or whatever. This is a movie that really, let's be honest, relied more on spectacle than fabulous writing and performances, even though the late Bill Paxton was great and Helen was great. But you're really there to see the tornado. It's great that Helen Hunt is there. it's great that Bill was there, but you're there to see the amazing tornado. And keep in mind, this was back when we were just getting used to all of these new special effects. This was 3 years after Jurassic Park. So people went to see the spectacle of the tornado. My point being, go ahead and remake it because special effects have gotten better. So I would love to see what they could do with that flying cow now. And it would be interesting to see, would they keep the same story? Would they flip it? Would they change it? I'm all on board with this. So Universal, by the way, they just got rid of their Twister ride a couple years ago, which is really cool, and replaced it with the Jimmy Fallon ride. Mer. Okay, let's get started. Let's continue on. Next in the hot dish, a lot of you're seeing a lot of brands kind of have a reckoning. You saw Aunt Jemima, the syrup. Get rid of that brand. You're seeing, well, I'm getting ready to talk about something at Disney, but the Dixie Chicks, Lady Antebellum, changed their name. Well, now Dixie Chicks are changing their name. Here's the deal. Because Hollywood's taking a good look. The entertainment industry is taking a good look in the mirror amid the Black Lives Matter movement. And the Dixie Chicks are dropping part of their name and will now be known as the Chicks. This broke late last week. The word Dixie, if you guys don't know, has long been associated with the Southern tradition. And as Confederate monuments continue to topple, the Chicks thought this is kind of the best time to move on from Dixie, saying, quote, "We want to meet this moment." The Chicks have sold 33 million albums worldwide. Another band, like I said, Lady Antebellum, changed its name a month ago to Lady A. I know this probably... I can see your comments. I see people's comments on social media. I know this probably elicits an eye roll for some folks, but I think this is the right thing to do. Dolly Parton had the Dolly Parton Dixie Stampede in Branson, Missouri, and I believe in Nashville too, or right by Dollywood. She got rid of the word Dixie because of the connotation. Look, if you're upset about this right now, just let it go. It's not. It's the right thing to do, and I applaud them for doing this. And that's all I got. One last story. Let's end on a positive note. John Krasinski. Listen to this. John Krasinski. Some good news is the show. 8 episodes were quite popular. Well, now the show is ready to take on the big guys because they're entering it for Emmy consideration. Now, since the shows were longer than 15 minutes, it will be competing against other variety shows like The Late Show, Last Week Tonight, and The Daily Show. John, if you don't know, self-financed the show, produced it, and hosted it as well, and it's been sold to CBS. So congratulations to John. Make the show that he probably thought he was just doing for the pandemic is now up for Emmy consideration. Okay, stay right there, everybody. We have a great show, so go get another cup of coffee and meet me back here in just a few minutes. Back after this.
Welcome back to the Jason Show. Well, salons are officially open. That means a lot of you are A, probably trying to get in, and B, trying to figure out what you want to do with your hair, which got us thinking. We should probably talk to somebody about that. So who do you call? You call the person that is nearest and dearest to your heart, who you think is the best in the business. For me, that's Lexi Singleton. She's been doing my hair for years now. Hi, Lexi.
Hello.
Okay, I probably get more questions about my hair than anything else ever. So props to you before we get started.
Thank you. You have good hair to work with.
Thanks. So a big thing before we talk about cuts, I want to talk about color. I know when I came in to see you, we talked a lot about making it really easy just in case something happens. And I've heard that from other people too. Is that what you've been hearing as far as what people want for color for their hair?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Coming back in my head, I thought people would want total change, start over, refresh. But what I'm finding is people want to feel comfortable. This has been such a time of change for everyone that people want to have some sort of comfort, but also make it more natural so that when the grow out happens, and if heaven forbid we do have to shut down again, it's less dramatic of a grow out process for a lot of people. So people do want to see some change. Obviously, people want to brighten back up for summertime, but doing it in a more modern, updated way so that grow up process is less harsh.
And you sent me a couple pictures of people in the same thing. One of those photos is of me. This was December, pre-mask era. What if you're going in and you tell your stylist, I want it to look easy? What are some things I should say about the color for what I want?
You know, I would really focus on, you know, what is your natural base color, which a lot of people kind of forget that they even have because we've done so much highlighting. So kind of, you know, working towards incorporating more of your natural color and figuring out like certain areas where you can create a little bit of pop and just work off more of a natural tone.
Haircuts. What are you kind of seeing as a trend?
You know, everybody, the beach waves are still super trendy right now. So everybody wants something that is easy to style. So whether it's a shorter cut, if they don't want to be able to put it up in a pony, but still be able to do some beach waves. So a little bit more of that blunter edged cut, less layered, you know, still have some movement and texture, but not like a traditional layered haircut. And then for longer hair, everybody wants to see like a nice perimeter edge. So less of that straggly, you know, fringy edge. Everything is more crisp and precise. And that way, when you do wave your hair, it flows really nice together. So anything a little bit more on the blunter side is still the very trendy look right now. And as we get into summer, no bangs. Everybody wants to, you know, get their hair off their face, and sweaty bangs is not a thing. So less bangs right now.
Now, we kind of led into this, but if someone's going in to see their stylist that they always see or see someone new, is it good to bring in photos of haircuts you like, or does that not help all the time?
No, absolutely. I am all for bring in inspiration, bring in pictures that are achievable, bring in pictures that are crazy and wild, that anything that gives you inspiration. And just know that what you bring in, you might be really dark today and you might show a picture of a blonde. It's not going to happen in one appointment. So you got to come up with a plan to work your way towards the look that you're going for. Just know that we're not magicians. You know, we can only do so much, and our job is to make your hair beautiful, not wreck it and fry it off. So everything we do, we try to do in more of a slow transitional. So having inspiration pictures is a great option, because then what your vision is then also the same vision as your stylist. So you're kind of on the same page, because especially, you know, anyone that's redheads are a perfect example. Your idea of if you came in and said, I would like red hair, is going to be very different of my idea if I said you should have red hair. So to have pictures to go off of will make everything a smoother transition.
When people don't like what's happening, or they're like, that's not what I was thinking, what's a good way as the stylist for someone to say that to you? I mean, I've never had that issue. That's why I look at you. But when other people might feel that way, how do you approach that with your stylists?
You know, one thing that's I want my clients to be very open with me, and I try my best to be open-minded. And I'm like, if there's something you don't like, come to me. Like, we want you to feel good. Like, we don't want you to walk out and not feel good about yourself. And I think people are so afraid to offend their stylist, and we don't really take it personally. It's your hair. You have to wear it. You know, maybe there was a miscommunication, which again is why pictures speak 1,000 words. But, you know, find somebody that you can build a relationship with, because like you and I, once you kind of know the person, I know what you like. So if you show me something that I'm like, oh girl, I know you will not like that, I feel comfortable enough saying that to you. And I will not give you something that I truly believe you would not like having.
One final thing, we're going to show the folks at home a video right now, but my most asked question, how do you get that beachy look with your hair? So you style it, you taught me how to do this, front half the pieces and then you flip it and go the other way and you don't curl all the way to the ends, right?
Correct. Yeah. I kind of do it in a couple, depending on the thickness of the hair. I like to part it off in different subsections. And then I curl one direction. And then the one right next to it, I curl in the opposite direction, because that way they kind of bounce off of each other instead of like forming into each other. And then I like to use like a wide tooth comb to separate all the curls, and don't be afraid to use a little bit of product to give it some grit and texture so it's not too soft. And yes, I do not curl all the way to the ends. And even if you make the mistake of curling all the way to the end, you don't need to fret. You can either use your curling iron or get a flat iron out and just kind of gently pull the edges a little bit straighter, and you've fixed the problem. Just grab chunks and start curling and you figure it out.
Well, thank you for chatting with me today, Lexi. If anyone wants to find out more about you, Instagram, website, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me, probably I would go directly to my website, because there's links to all my different social media accounts directly on my website. And there's pictures right on my website of all the hair and trends and things that I like. So start with the website, which I think you will post in the link. And you'll get it all right from there.
All right. Well, go to the website, maintain Lexi Singleton. I love you. I adore you. Thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck, everyone, on your summer haircuts. The Jason Show. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the Jason Show. This is our non-negative news segment. Bloop. There we go. Little rainbows there for you. And I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the good in people. This is. I've had so many examples. You know, you think to yourself, oh, there are just some crummy people on earth. But then you're reminded sometimes on a daily basis how good people are. And this first story is one of those stories. So you may have seen this in the newspaper. Here's the thing from the Washington Post. On Facebook, a woman denounced a Starbucks worker who asked her to wear a mask. Well, it backfired. The Starbucks employee ended up receiving $28,000 in tips. So basically what happened was the Starbucks employee was just following her corporate policy. And I know a lot of you watching don't like masks. I get it. I don't like them either. But anyway, so the Starbucks employee asked a customer to put on a mask. The customer refused, made a big scene, said that she was going to call corporate or call the police or something like that. Well, it was all posted on video because, hello, everyone has phones now. So it was posted and on social media. And instead of the woman who yelled at the Starbucks employee kind of winning the argument, it backfired, as the headline said. People from around the world ended up sending the woman tips. I think it was a woman or a man, the Starbucks employee tips equaling $28,000. So it just, that made me happy. And, I get it. Masks, not everyone likes them, but this is how I look at it. My grandparents were part of the World War II generation, and I think of the sacrifices that they had to make. Now to the really good in people. You've heard me talk about the campaign that we're doing on the radio show for the Neighborhood Rebuilding Fund. And listen to this. We were supposed to have a $40,000 goal. It was a 10-day fund. And we were trying to reach 40,000 to give to the Neighborhood Development Center, which, by the way, is a wonderful organization which helps businesses owned by people of color prosper and grow. $40,000 goal beaten in 4 days. Then we had an $80,000 goal. Well, as I tape this right now, I just wrapped up the radio show. Listen to this. Let me look at the computer. We are at $122,000. I know a lot of you listen to the radio show too, so I want to say it again and again. Thank you so much. We're going to take a break. We have much more shows, so please get comfortable, get some more Fritos or a cupcake, and meet me back here in just a few minutes. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. Oh, I'm excited. Well, I'm always excited. Usually I get to hug her, but hello, the COVID, I can't hug her now. Joining us live from her kitchen, it's the cooking mom. Hey, Amy.
Virtual hug, Jason.
Virtual hug, I know. I've been doing that. It's like the virtual COVID hug. How you? Oh, look at the pooch. We've never seen your dog.
This is Arlo. He is a 7-year-old black lab, and I've been cooking live daily on Facebook. So whenever I'm in the kitchen, he makes his way, like he totally makes his way in, hoping that I will drop something. So he's got the drill down. And then he kind of, when he realizes, oh, she's not cooking right this second, he scoots off. But I'm sure he'll make an appearance in the next, 5 to 10 minutes. But what would we do without our pets during this
Seriously. Okay, so we're going to be doing 3 things today. The first thing in this first segment, then we'll take a break and come back and do the other 2. What are we making today?
So I'm super excited about some summer dessert recipes. I'm going to show you how to roast strawberries. Yes, I said roast strawberries and turn them into this amazing dessert that will make you look like a total and complete rock star. It's perfect for, kind of a special dessert, but it's super easy breezy because that's the way I roll. So first, Jace, I'm going to talk about roasting strawberries. Why would you do it? And, how easy it is to do. So
I've never, Amy, in the hundreds of cooking segments, well, probably now thousands over 23 years, and hundreds with you, I have never in my life heard of roasting strawberries. I am very excited to see this.
And you're not alone. I think a lot of people have heard of roasting vegetables. I love like turning the oven on a really high heat and roasting asparagus or zucchini or peppers and onions. And what it does is it blasts them with flavor rather than boiling them, and it kind of brings out the flavor and caramelizes them. Well, same deal for strawberries, and it's really on trend right now to roast or grill fruit, and I'll show you why. So. It's strawberry season, so if you pick up some beautiful strawberries at the farmer's market or at a roadside stand, or maybe you're picking your own, those are so wonderful. They're probably really nice and sweet, and those are better just eaten out of hand or in a strawberry shortcake. You mainly want to roast the strawberries that you might get at the grocery store that aren't as wonderful as they could be. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, totally.
These are from the grocery store, and they're a little bit white. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're pretty, but they're not going to be like the ones you get, this time of year at the farmer's market. So if you really want to make them extra flavorful, here's what you do. So you clean them and just slice them up. And I love this recipe because, I am cooking for a smaller group of people. We've just got 2 in our house right now. So you can easily cut this recipe and a lot of my recipes in half. So you don't need to do a big batch, but you certainly can, and you can get it done ahead of time. So in a little casserole dish, you're going to take some sliced strawberries, just like this, and you're going to toss them with a little bit of sugar. Now, the oven needs to be preheated to about 400 degrees. Oh, look, Arlo's back. Hey, buddy, I have not dropped anything yet. So, but just wait, I might. So anyway, you toss those berries with some sugar, and then you get them into a preheated, make sure your oven is preheated to 400, 425, maybe even 450. Really got to shock these berries for about 20 to 30 minutes. You can also do them in a foil pan on your grill. So what that's going to do, it's really going to concentrate the flavor and cook these strawberry down, and you're going to almost be left with a strawberry syrup. So here's what they look like when they come out of the oven. And I don't know if you can see that. It's really kind of a thick, syrupy sauce, and it is killer. A little note, if you have extra, blend them up and make frosé with them. Put them with some rosé wine and maybe a little extra, splash of alcohol like rum or vodka, and freeze that.
Now you're talking, Amy.
Wow.
Now you're talking. I also thought, too, that could be really good over like some fresh ice cream, just as like a strawberry syrup.
Absolutely. And you definitely want to refrigerate these. So after you pull them out of the oven, let them cool a little bit and let them refrigerate. So now I'm going to get to work on this trifle. And they're just even great, just straight up with a spoon. It just concentrates the flavor. And if you like strawberries, it just takes it all up a notch. All right. So for the trifle, a trifle is a layered dessert, right? With cake and pudding and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a fancy English dessert, but it doesn't have to be. But they look so cool. So I've got some pound cake here. You could also use angel food. You can make your own. Come on, it's summer. Sometimes you just don't even want to turn the oven on if it's warm. So this is just my good friend Sarah Lee. And I just, diced it up into little pieces because you need it to fit in a vessel. And my vessel of choice is like, this is like a pretty parfait glass. You could do it in like a wine glass would be kind of fancy. You could do it in just even a clear juice glass. This happens to be like if you want to do little mini desserts, which are really on trend, a little cordial glass. But if you really want to keep it simple, clear plastic cups work too. So we're going to start layering these guys. So basically you're going to take some of the cubes of the cake, and then you're going to take some of these roasted cooled strawberries and that syrup. It's all about that syrup. And these really concentrate in flavor, so you don't need a ton of them. And these you can have all done ahead and parked in your refrigerator. And then what makes this incredibly delicious besides roasted strawberries is I'm going to make a quick, easy mascarpone cheese. Mascarpone is what commonly is the cream filling in tiramisu. It's like an Italian cream cheese. I'm going to add to that some powdered sugar. I don't want it too sweet. I don't like sickeningly sweet desserts. A little bit of vanilla and heavy cream. And also this can be done ahead of time. So I'm just going to use a mixer quick and beat this together, and this is going to be my filling. So you can have the strawberries roasted, you can have this cream mixture all beaten together in a container in your fridge, and then quickly layer these up. There we go.
I'm just waiting for the dog to make an appearance while you're mixing.
Oh, you know what? You never know when Mr. Arlo is going to show up. It's always a surprise. All right, so now we're going to start layering. So we've got our cake and our roasted strawberries. Now we're going to do a nice dollop of this cream mixture. We can do some more cake. These are really rich, so you don't need to make like ginormous ones. And then you can park them into the refrigerator until you're ready to serve. Maybe cover them with a little bit of plastic wrap. And then before serving, I think it's always fun to dress them up a little bit and look a little fancy. Not that that wouldn't be just beautiful as is, but I've got some extra fresh berries, so you could, kind of take a little berry for if you wanted to be a little patriotic and do some red, white, and blue. We can add some blackberries or blueberries. And then I have some growing herbs, Jason. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not a gardener at all, but
look at you, Martha Stewart.
I not even close, but mint is really easy to grow, but I've got on my outdoor space all sorts of herbs. So I just went, this is mojito mint, so it's double duty. So grow some mint and you can do it mojitos or just garnish this dessert, but like total rock star, right? I mean,
look at that.
I know.
Look at that.
You pay $15 for, a dessert like this at a restaurant. Not that I don't like to support our local restaurants. We need to do that.
But still.
It's fun to do something fancy at home. And isn't it pretty? And you have them all lined up.
It is.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Well, Amy's not done yet. As I said, the Cooking Mom has 2 more recipes. You stay there on the other side of the break. You'll see those. Back in a moment. And welcome back, everyone. More with the Cooking Mom, who, by the way, follow the Cooking Mom on Instagram. What's your address?
Search the Cooking Mom, and I'm posting stuff, new recipes and ideas all the time, Jason. I'm also cooking live daily on Facebook, and I know a lot of people from the Twin Cities are watching. So I'm just trying to give people some, easy, breezy recipes for summer. I know we're cooking now more than we ever have before, so I'm just trying to really cook on a budget, from my pantry, from my fridge, just keeping it real.
Well, and we have 2 more desserts. What do we have now?
So I'm going to show you 2 super easy desserts that you can actually grill. When I grill, and I'm going to, try and grill a bunch this summer, I like to keep it all outside, including the mess, because I mentioned that we're all cooking now more than ever. We're also living in our homes now more than ever, and that means it can get messy. So if I can keep it all outside, yes. So these are really fun, easy desserts that if you're grilling a steak or chicken or whatever, push it over at the end and grill dessert too, and they will be a hit, and they are super crazy easy. The first one is a coconut peach dump cake, and it's kind of like an or a crisp or a cobbler, and you just dump it all together, which is my kind of recipe. You can do it in a foil pan on the grill, or really on trend are these cast iron skillets. They're on sale. I picked this up like for $15, and you're going to use it over and over and over again. If you're using a cast iron skillet, butter or oil it. If you're using a foil pan, just spray it really well with cooking spray. So you can also cut a lot of my recipes in half. Don't be afraid of doing that. We're cooking for smaller numbers of people, so I cut this recipe in half. Normally, if I'm making a big batch, use 2 of the big cans of sliced or peach halves, or 4 of the little guys. So I'm going to dump in my peaches with the juice and heavy syrup. Make sure you keep the juice. You really need it. Then we're going to add some yellow cake mix. So if you're doing the full recipe, a full box. If you're doing half the recipe, a half box. So just dump that right on top. Don't follow the directions in the back. You want this to be kind of the topping for this peach dump cake. Then we're going to add melted butter over the top. And again, you can get the full recipe on my website, thecookingmom.com. Brown sugar over the top. Then I've got, it's a coconut peach dump cake, and the coconut really takes this over the top. This is just some flaked coconut, and then I'm going to throw some pecans on the top too. And this goes on your grill for about 20 to 30 minutes until it's bubbly, or in your oven for about a half hour. You want to serve this warm with like vanilla ice cream, and it is out of this world. I'll show you what it looks like in just a minute. One more really fun dessert recipe. If you like s'mores, this is a twist to the classic s'mores. And again, I'm going to do it in a skillet. I've got basically a skillet that I've heated up on the grill or in the oven. And now to that, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. So this is a skillet s'mores dip. And who doesn't love s'mores in the summer? But it's just another fun way to serve it. Then I've got some semi-sweet, or if you're a milk chocolate person, chocolate chips, or you can even take some Hershey's bars and just break them up and use those. So, you know, as far as the chocolate goes, yeah, use whatever you have. And, you know, make it yours. You can even add butterscotch chips. Look at Arlo showed up. Arlo, no chocolate for you. No chocolate for dogs. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to take some marshmallows and stick them on the top. So this is one of those things that it's like movie night and you need a dessert. You need to pull dessert out of the hat. And that's going to happen a lot. You know, keep some graham crackers, chocolate chips, and marshmallows around, and you will completely and totally look like a rock star hero if you make this. So then this goes on your grill or in your oven. I want to show you how cool it looks when it comes out. So the marshmallows get all puffy and toasted.
Look at that. I love that.
I know, and they're super fun. And, you know, something, again, you might get at a restaurant. These mini skillets are super on trend. They're like $6. And then, you know, the graham crackers for dipping, maybe some extra chocolate. Then I wanted to show you the coconut peach dump cake. I mean, this is like crazy over the top yummy and so easy. And you just scoop it into bowls with like vanilla ice cream, and oh yeah, it is like, people can't believe how easy this is. So yeah, lots of really easy desserts for summer, potato salads, pasta salads, you know, lots of recipes for the grill, and a ton of easy dessert recipes on my website, thecookingmom.com.
And also on Instagram, search for The Cooking Mom on Instagram, on Facebook. And don't forget, it's right behind her. Get her book, The Cooking Mom, right there. My mom has it. I always say it, on Amazon. Amy, thank you.
Thank you, all, as always, so much. I'm sending you hugs and loves, and please take care and be safe, everybody.
The Cooking Mom. We're going to take a break, everyone. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. He's our buddy. He's our friend. We haven't seen him since the pandemic started. Ladies and gentlemen, for the St. Paul Pet Hospital, Dr. Eric Rulin. Hey, Dr. Eric.
Thanks, Jason. How are you guys? How's everybody doing?
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, you know, we've been checking in with our friends as we've been doing these at-home shows. How you doing?
We've been, you know, the clinics have been very busy. We've been kind of we've been on a personal. We've just been hunkering in at home and spending some quality time with family and been up at the cabin a little bit. But other than that, people are going just wild about their pets right now. They're home a lot, and we've been seeing more new pets coming in the door, and people have, you know, they have maybe a little bit more time to bring them in. So we've been very busy lately.
I was going to ask, well, and you kind of already answered it. I read and somewhere over the course of the first phase of the quarantine that dog adoption and pet adoption was going through the roof. Yeah. Is that anecdotal, or are you seeing it really?
Absolutely, and absolutely. Like our new especially new pet adopted pets, our rescue pets. We've just been seeing probably a 15 to 20% increase over last year. That's substantial. I mean, that's real. Those are real numbers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's oh, go ahead.
No, and like I said, I think some of this isolation that people are feeling, and not only social isolation from each other, but just from, you know, just needing the human-animal bond. You know, it's the people are wanting pets.
Now, how about the rumor that the pets, there's a funny story that the pets are getting sick of us, Dr. Eric, that they don't want us home as much as we've been home. Is there any truth to that?
Oh. Well, you know, cats, they always say that, you know, that cats could at times could be kind of care less whether or not now that's for some of us, that they would care less whether you're there or not. But no, I don't think, I think it's maybe an adjustment period because we're home so much, but no, I don't think that they're getting necessarily sick of us at any rate.
Well, it's a good time to actually talk to you, and we haven't for a while. We kind of missed the winter season and spring season. It is summer now. A lot of people watching have new pets. Off the top of your head, what are some good reminders, or as I call them, public service announcements? You as a vet, what should people keep in their mind as they have these new pets, as we approach summer and deer ticks and all of that, the stuff that goes with summer? What should folks keep in mind right now?
When we're acquiring new pets, so first thing, you get a new pet, they should be isolated from other pets in the household for a minimum of 10 days, and they should be just by themselves. Not by themselves, they can be with you, but they should be isolated from other pets for 10 days. First rule. Second rule, get them obviously into your local veterinarian, get them in for a checkup just to check for underlying disease they might not see. For cats, we got feline leukemia virus, feline immunodeficiency virus. They could have a totally normal cat come walking in the clinic that could be carrying that could expose the other cats in the household. I have that happen, not a lot, but enough times where a new kitten comes in that is shedding immunodeficiency virus, and then they expose the other cats in the house. So that's one. Obviously with flea and tick prevention, we're in the thick of things right now. I was up at my cabin. I probably picked 30 ticks off of my dog, off of Butter last weekend. Make sure that they're on some type of either oral. We prefer oral preventative. There's a couple of them on the market. We prefer Bravecto because it's a longer acting product, but there's a bunch of different ones. Those are FDA approved products, very safe. Some of the topicals I'll use sparingly, like the Frontlines and some of the other ones, only because dogs are a little bit more reactive to some of the Frontline and the topical products, but that's just clinical choice. And then obviously Lyme disease, there's vaccines. We have new upgraded Lyme vaccines that have come out in the last couple of years that are incredibly effective for Lyme disease and for diseases like leptospirosis. So again, your veterinarians are going to give, I think it's important when you go into your veterinarian to tell them about what type of risks you are, and what kind of social behaviors you and your dog are taking, because my dog might be at more risk than, like I've used this example. Mrs. Jones, one of my clients who's on the 10th floor of the downtown St. Paul building, that dog's probably at a little bit different risk than Butter, who's out grouse hunting with me and running through the woods and getting into God knows what. Like, those are two different risk assessments. And I think it's important that you talk to your veterinarian about what those risks are. And they should be able to put together a preventative care package that's very specific for your pet. That's the key.
Dr. Eric, because we have a rather mild winter, are you seeing ticks being worse or about the same this year? Because I found a couple. I mean, we go up to the lake with the boys, and I see a little less than normal.
Yeah, wet springs typically will bring more ticks out, and it's sort of seasonally dependent. But a lot of the ticks that you see in the springtime, a lot of people think they're deer ticks because they're really small. Those are actually nymph-phased wood ticks. So a lot of the really small ones might not be a deer tick, and unless you're good at identifying them, it's the good thing is tick transmission and transmission of tick-borne diseases take 24 hours. So if you find a tick that's already attached, unless that tick is really engorged and it's been there for a while, that could be problematic. But the little ticks that are just starting to feed, or you just find them attached, just pull those off. There's no reason for concern, or there shouldn't be any. And a lot of people get worried about the head being stuck down in there. It's kind of an old wives' tale. Get as much of it pulled off as you can, but don't worry. I hear lots of people just clean it with some antiseptic and you should be fine.
You mentioned, I want to ask about Butter. We'll end with Butter, end on a great note, but I want to combine a couple things for our last question, and that is, everyone is getting a lot of new pets. It's summer. And the pandemic, we're outside a lot. We're walking our dogs and going to a dog park. I forgot what segment it was, one of your many appearances. You talked about some learning moments and how to introduce a dog to a dog park. What is one of the things people have to realize or know, another public service announcement, when they're introducing maybe a new dog to a dog park where there are potentially a lot of dogs in there?
You can never trust the other dogs that are around. So, and when I initially when I brought Butter for the first time, keep her on a leash so I can immediately pull her back or get her away from the situation. And I'm reading the body language of the dogs. I guess first and foremost, don't ever don't trust the dog park until you know your dog well. And the other thing is, you want to introduce that dog to dogs of similar size. Like, I don't want a little puppy interacting with a huge dog right away until I can trust that large dog and read their body language. I guess at the end of the day, dogs, unfortunately, they're going to fight with their teeth. That's the only thing that they have. And like kids on a playground occasionally get into scraps and fights. I fish right down by the Minnehaha dog park, and I'm sitting there fishing, and I hear a dog fight every 2 or 3 minutes. And they're usually little squabbles, but it's not a big deal as long as these two dogs are the same size. But when you have this big dog, little dog situation, that's obviously not a good situation to set yourself up in, especially if you don't know the other dog. I would say controlled settings in an area that another dog can either can have space to get away, and just it's like I said, it's kind of hard to assess the situation. So don't just expect your dog just to be social and get out there. Controlled settings, small settings with dogs of similar size. That's a better situation when we're introducing them.
I am always, I don't know about you, I am always still surprised. I live in communal living. I live in a condo building. I'm not calling my neighbors out, but still, the amount of people who take their dogs out without a leash, it amazes me. Because you're just kind of asking for trouble. You may know your dog, but you don't know what dog you're going to encounter walking down the sidewalk. Am I right on that?
So the entry and exits of the dog parks are really anxious places because the dog is trying to assess what's going on and what's happening inside the fence, and then people just kind of unleash dogs, and you want to make that transition as fast as you possibly can and get away from that gate, and so that you're through that area. That's where the majority of these major interactions and these fights happen, are right at the front gates of the dog parks. So transition through those areas as fast as you can. That's not a place to just sit and linger and say hi to every dog walking through. That's a really anxiety-ridden place for the dog. Like, get through that space as fast as you can.
And finally, last but not least, we have about 30 seconds. How's Butter doing?
She's doing fantastic. She's growing. She's getting into trouble daily. I had her up at the farm up in Wisconsin, and she disappeared into quicksand as she was running through the woods. She fell into a mud hole, and all that was sticking out was her nose. I had a black lab for about 10 minutes. She just literally went across the river, just disappeared into the mud, and all I saw was this much of the top of the nose sticking out. My son and I were dying laughing. It was the funniest thing ever.
Oh my goodness.
She's doing great. We had a little scare. We bought a new cabin in Wisconsin, and this is a reminder to owners. I went through the house and cleaned out all the rat poison that I could find. That little bugger still found 2 packets of rat poison, dug them out, and ate all of them. And I found the wrappers the next morning when I got up. I found them. So as a reminder to everybody, if you're up at a cabin, walk the perimeter, go through everything. And I already had, but it was a huge scare for our family. It was a little dicey. She's totally fine. There's a reversal for rat poisons. We can give them vitamin K as the reversal.
But
so
still.
Yeah, sitting in the shoes of my clients for a few minutes always is a good reminder but anyways, I didn't need that level of stress.
Exactly. Well, you go back. Dr. Eric's busy. You can see we're right in the middle of his office. So you go back. Thank you, my friend. We'll see you. We'll see you when we can get guests back in the studio.
Can't wait, Jason.
Thank you. Bye. Dr. Eric, everyone. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. We keep getting a lot of questions, and it really means a lot to us. When are we going to be back 5 days a week? When are we going to be back in the studio? And as I said before, when we know something, we will tell you. I just want to say again, if people wonder why, like our friends at Twin Cities Live, they're 5 days a week. Our show is not back yet because, and I appreciate this, Fox wants to keep as few people as possible in our studios in Eden Prairie. So when they can loosen that up and safely allow more employees back to get our show on the air, we will be back in the studio. So we get that question a lot. So I just want to cover it every so often. So when we can, we will. Believe me, I'm itching to get back, even though, doing the show here in my little extra bedroom has been great. I can't wait to wear a suit again. I can't wait to see Jeff again. Well, no, I'm just joking. I can't wait to see Jeff and Eric and the whole family and all of you. As far as an audience, it probably will be some time before we can welcome an audience back in. But like I said, I can't wait to see all of you. I can't wait for our show to go back to 5 days a week. But in the meantime, I just appreciate, and all of us, we appreciate your patience and your continued support of our show. And don't forget, for the time being, we do have new shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Go out there and be yourself, everyone, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you soon.